Welcome back to another episode of Adjuster Hour, the show where we talk with industry leaders, mentors, and innovators shaping the world of claims adjusting. Today, I'm joined by someone many of you already know, Nicholas Currie. Nicholas is a building consultant, appraiser, and IA firm consultant who's been in the industry since 2017. What's interesting is that adjusting wasn't his first career path. He actually started out in IT before transitioning into the family business. And once he did, he never looked back. Since then, Nicholas has become a trusted name in the industry, known for his expertise, his deep network, and his passion for helping others succeed. He also founded Adjuster Insights, a fast-growing community and Discord hub dedicated to helping independent adjusters level up their skills and stay connected. Nicholas, welcome to Adjuster Hour. I'm so happy to have you on today.
Thank you for inviting me. It's been a long time coming. I've been trying to get on here for a while. It just wasn't. I had to go in for the lottery to get picked.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So our first conversation was probably like 6 months ago when we first connected, and you mentioned about a mysterious platform that you were developing. So that's kind of how we connected originally. I don't know if you remember that phone call.
I do, because you were fresh starting off, and so we were trying to get plug everybody
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. I was cautious on the phone call because I was like, what is he talking about? So we're going to get into that interesting platform and discussion later on in our discussion today. But with all adjusters and people in the industry, everyone loves to know and wants to know, how did you get started in the insurance industry?
It's an interesting path. My family's been in it for a long time. My dad started with CNC back in the day, and we worked around. And when I got into IT, it was basically like I'm in an area that I guess IT is not really booming. It's not Dallas or Atlanta or somewhere like that. And so I saw my career and the financial path kind of being at a peak and plateaued out. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make the jump. I want to go somewhere to see what I can do. And honestly, it was money to start. And then I realized that I really liked it. So I just kind of never got out.
Yeah, money is a motivating factor for lots of adjusters, which they find out that it may not always be the case once they get
No,
started.
it was terrible. It was not easy money. It was not easy money.
No, I bet not. So you began in the IT world, but what led you there originally?
So I actually, it's really funny. I was kind of going to college to be a doctor, and because I was like,
Oh,
oh, you know what, everybody wants to be a doctor. And then I realized I hated school, and so
yeah.
I changed up my degree in computer and network administration. And like I said, I like the software side of it and dealing with everything of that. And that's where I thrived at. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do that much school, couldn't do 8 to 10 years. So got it done quick,
Oh,
got out, and get to play with computers all day. So it was nice.
yeah. So were you big into computers when you were younger, or?
I still am. I've actually
Okay.
built several. The one that I work on daily, I order all the parts, piece them together, build them out. I had a bunch of certifications. I was actually a Microsoft certified professional at one point. I took a
Oh.
bunch of tests and had a bunch of cool things behind my name, but obviously I
Mhm.
let it all lapse in claims. But I guess it's the equivalent of an AIC or a CPCU. It was one of those. Took a long time to study and get, but I'm on one every day. But the one I work on, I did build.
Oh, wow, that's impressive. So did not know that about you, or would never have guessed. So
I
now,
am an enigma. I like to keep people guessing.
yeah, I'm learning more about you from our original phone call and our subsequent follow up. But you mentioned during when we had our pre call, I pre call everyone. We talk and we get to know each other. And you mentioned that probably like others in your same shoes, you were initially kind of against joining the family business. Why was that?
It's tough working for family, but it's not so much. If you're working for your parents is one thing, but when you're working with your brothers, it's a little different.
Mm,
And so, we were
Yeah.
all in it, but it's tough working for family because the expectation is it's your last name signing the checks of everybody else. And
Yeah.
so you kind of have to take ownership of it and, take that responsibility and the pressure that you may not have wanted, but that's just what comes with the territory.
Yeah.
So, family dinners and family Christmases were nothing but insurance claims.
Is that kind of how you grew up? Was it heavily insurance inundated within your family where you kind of heard about it often, or?
It was not to start. My dad actually ran a flooring business for, I don't know, 20 plus years, large commercial
Mhm.
flooring and residential installer. And so that's where I learned a lot about flooring and ran the carpet truck with him in the summers. And then once we got out of the flooring and construction business, that's where it started. So I was probably 10 or 11, 12, 13, 14,
Mm.
somewhere around there. Early teenage years is where he got in, ran a big deployment to Minnesota, is actually one of the first ones I remember. And that's kind of what started it. But growing up, it was all construction and flooring.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you had some background in that. Okay. Let's
Oh,
see.
I can't build a birdhouse, but I watched it done all the time.
You watch it done, yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to say hello to Brian. Brian's watching from Mesquite, Texas. Is that how you say it? Mesquite? I don't know. But hey,
Sounds
Brian,
like.
thanks for thanks for watching. Um, so okay, let's talk about your early experiences. Being an IA. What was your first storm deployment, and do you remember how that experience went for you?
My first actual storm was Hurricane Harvey.
Uh-huh.
I will never forget it for as long as I live. My hotel room was infested with fleas. I had a guy that worked with me that walked around barefoot the entire time in this disgusting hotel. It's one of the most traumatizing things in my life. And we spent 2 weeks there running the storm office, and we were basically 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. And
Mhm.
half of the adjusters you see talking in the Discord were there with me. That was our 90% of them's first storm. And I just remember being sheer chaos, man, just because,
Mhm.
families were displaced. So they were staying in the hotels and they allowed pets to come in. And so you had everybody in there. We were in Floresville. So we were far away from the coast. It was a long drive. We just couldn't get close enough.
Yeah.
But it was nuts. That's all I can say is it was nuts. I ate so much Whataburger, I didn't eat it for like 6 months after that.
Were you scared on your first deployment? Were you
Oh, it
like
was
the
it
nerve?
was traumatizing, man. My dad was with me for the first week, but I had adjusters
Mhm.
that some of these guys showed up without a ladder. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like we were there. I was like, I don't know what to tell you, brother. You got to get on the roof. So, I
Wow.
had just a sheet of what was required, and
Mhm.
that was kind of the basic ability that I had, and just enough to get them to get the claim submitted and get it closed. I didn't know what
Yeah.
I know now, so I was just very cookie cutter. This is all you got to do, the bare minimum. This is what we got to get done.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, I do know from personal experience, but did that first deployment kind of shape you for the rest of your career?
It gave me trauma that I'll never forget, that's for sure. But it also made lifelong friends that
Oh yeah.
I've a lot of the same adjusters. We've worked all together, different firms and different places. But
Mhm.
it threw me to the fire, and I had to sink or swim. Right, I didn't have a
Mhm.
choice. And the success of those adjusters in that room kind of hinged on me that they didn't have a choice either.
Yeah.
So it was at that point I basically drank from the fire hose and never stopped.
I remember my first hurricane. It was in my backyard. The
Mhm.
name escapes me all of a sudden, but it hit the New Orleans area. So I'm in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I remember getting claims in, and they didn't stop coming in, and going out to these properties, and it kind of just like hit me all of a sudden, like, oh my god, I'm dealing with massive losses where people's livelihoods are affected. What am I doing? What the hell am I doing out here? And yeah, it became reality very quickly. It was in 2012, so whatever hurricane that was in 2012 that hit the coastal Louisiana. Thankfully, I was able to be home every night, which was a plus.
Mhm.
Not many adjusters can go home like that or have a place to stay. But living in Louisiana, that's what you get down here is that you can work your own backyard. You don't have to necessarily deploy. So it was good for me. But yeah,
It's a
definitely.
blessing and a curse to be on the
Yeah.
coast.
Yeah, it is. But luckily we weren't affected, so I was able to, get everything done and everything was fine. But anyway, so looking back now, what's something you wish you known during those early deployments?
Uh, I guess the biggest thing that I had a problem with early on was not everything's black and white.
Hmm.
So I
Yeah.
was very, by the book because that's all I had at that point. I literally just had the book. That's what I go with. But if I had the capability to be able to understand the nuances in the outside, that's the one thing that I didn't have, right? I
Mm,
assumed it was one way or no way. And now I
yeah.
realize there's 100 ways to accomplish the same thing. So that is my biggest regret is, a lot of those adjusters were forced to follow that. And so
Yeah.
if I'd have had a little more experience under me, a little more, I could have not necessarily in the gray stuff, but you get what I'm saying, right? The claim is
Hmm.
not always cut and dry. Sometimes there are situations where you have to make decisions and judgment calls that I wasn't equipped to make back then.
Hmm. Yeah, it only comes with experience.
Mhm.
There's really, and a mentor kind of showing you the way and teaching you. Well, we have lots of comments. Oh my gosh, I want to say hello to some people real quick. Adam Baker, good morning from Southern California. Wow, thank you for watching. Brandon Price, good morning. Thank you for coming on. Derek, good morning from New England. Wow, we got people from all over the place. Jason Oberman said competitive family biz.
Jason's been with us almost since the beginning. I don't know. I've known that guy for a long time.
And then good morning, Jenny. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you. So let's jump forward to your career today. What are you doing? What's your job title? What's your day-to-day role? What do you got going on?
Uh, I tell you the same thing I tell everybody. I kind of just make it up as I go. Some days I wake up and I'll be a consultant. Some days I'll be an appraiser. Some days I'm the janitor. It just depends
Yeah.
on what's needed. But as of right now, consultant is my primary day-to-day role, working building consulting files, but also in the other side of it with IA firms. So I have a couple firms that have new clients, new carriers. We're working to build out SOPs and practices, and just a big connector of people. Right? It's easy. It's easier to build a quality control protocol out if you know the adjuster claim and you know what it's
Yeah.
going to come in. Right? So you use a top tier adjuster that I've worked with for years, run the new carrier, run the new claim, and then you develop the baseline. You don't want to get a new adjuster and try to figure out the baseline from there. And so that's pretty much what I do every day, just consulting on all sides of it. And I spend a lot of time on the phone answering questions from people like Brandon, just, he'll call up and be needing something.
Yeah. Yeah. So what aspects of your current position do you enjoy the most?
Honestly, it's the freedom and the
Mm,
ability to talk through any points of the industry. So when I was working for the carrier side specifically, I didn't really get to call my friends that worked in the attorney side. And
mm,
so when I was working, if I'm working on this side and that side, it was you could do it, but kind of taboo, right? So now that I'm out free, not tied to any firm or anything specifically, I'm able to network and connect on all sides of the industry. So I'm able to pick up what's happening on the plaintiff side, look at stuff that's happening on the carrier side. And the Discord has kind of helped that a lot too, bring everybody together. But it's just a freedom. I'm
mm-hmm.
not I'm not tied to doing one thing. And so I hate being in a box, and I like being able to expand out. And so it's freedom currently.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what draws a lot of people to be an IA in the first place. I mean, you're not that you're an IA right now, but in the essence of having your own freedom and that can't be replaced. I mean, money is wonderful. We love to have money, but having freedom too is just such a great benefit to this career.
Yeah, I
So
can say
that
no. You know what I'm saying? I can say no if I wanted to because there's nobody to tell me I
Yeah.
can't say no. So
Yeah. Well, do you miss being an IA?
I came out of you saw the Discord not too long ago. I came out of semi-retirement, got on the first roof probably in 2 years that I've been on, and
Oh,
it was a
wow.
fun one. So I do
Mhm.
not in the slightest, man. It's hard to explain because when I'm being an appraiser or a consultant or whatever, 9 times out of 10, I'm not getting on the roof anyways. We're rock,
Mhm.
paper, scissors on the ground, who's buying it and who's not.
Yeah.
But being the IA side of it and realizing that I have to do it from the beginning, I don't miss it. It's not that
Really?
it's just a different train of thought, right? I'm so
Mhm.
used to doing everything on the back end that I forget that's not my role on the front end.
Yeah.
And I don't envy adjusters for what they have to deal with because I don't have to deal with the angry insureds in my position. But when somebody's yelling at you and you're sitting there in a room trying to take a picture and they're yelling about, you should have covered this 19 years ago, I don't envy that at
Mhm.
all. I don't have to deal with
Yeah.
homeowners, so I'm fine where I'm at.
See, I miss it. I miss being out in the field. I miss cruising the streets of Louisiana. I
No, not a shot.
Yeah, I like connecting with people. I like meeting people. I like getting to know them. I like talking to them. I like, finding out about them. I just have this natural curiosity, and going to a claim, you meet so many different walks of life that are just interesting to me. And I think I've just missed that the most, is having that interaction with people. Um, wow, our comments are blowing up. We have hey Kevin, thank you for checking in here. Hi, Thomas from Texas. He's one of he's one of your guys that you recently introduced me to. Josh Fisher, good morning from Portland. And then our good friend, Mr. Conrad. Hello, Natalie and Nicholas. Thank you so much for joining in. So let's get right into it. Let's get to the big thing that you have going on, your adjuster insights. You know,
Hmm?
when you first called me about adjuster insights, you didn't want to tell me what it was at first. You were keeping it under wraps. But why did you decide to start adjuster insights? Like what gave you that idea, that motivation to start adjuster insights?
So Kevin, the guy that just typed in here, Kevin Ferguson and I have known each other. I guess Kevin's been around since like 2007. But
Mm-hmm.
when we were all out in the field and when I was doing a lot of work in Louisiana and I was basically traveling. Oh, did the connection dropped? Are we there?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Oh, there we go. Okay, sorry, I saw it
Yeah.
pop up on my screen. But when I was driving a lot, I was sitting on the phone with these guys. We all do it. We get behind the windshield, everybody calls, everybody does everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got to the point to where adjusters and us, we realized that we were spending more time getting into more difficult things that what if we could just put them all in one place, like, because I would never always know the answer, so I would have to call somebody like Zach or Scott or somebody, call anybody that I could to figure out the answer. So we
Mm-hmm.
just thought about it. What if we did a hub where everybody can come in? Obviously there's a paywall of $10 a month, but that filters out a lot of the riffraff that you don't get on Facebook, and we hate social media. I
Mm-hmm.
despise Facebook. I don't know if I've posted in months on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I don't look at the forums and the threads unless I'm just bored and I want to troll somebody. Um, and so we just wanted a different place that has
Mm-hmm.
voice capabilities, and it's integrated, right? So I can be on my PlayStation. Just say it's 10 o'clock at night. I'm on my PlayStation playing a game. Somebody has a question. I literally can join the Discord on my PlayStation and answer the question in a voice chat from my PlayStation versus being on my computer or on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere has it. So it's a better place. You can be anonymous, and we felt people would be more comfortable than on Facebook. And you get access to people that want to help you close claims. I'm not selling
Mm-hmm.
you, a bag of goods to be six-figure salaries, and this is going to be get rich quick scheme, because it's not. Industry sucks right now,
Mm-hmm.
but it's honest and open feedback for opportunities. And you can attest to that firsthand now that you've been in it and seen it. It's different than
Mm-hmm.
what's going on in the Facebook threads.
It is. I've been lucky enough to join the Discord and get to look around and interact with the other adjusters. I like it. I enjoy chatting because I love to talk, as
Mhm.
obviously with my podcast, I'm a talker. Um, and I love that people are in there asking questions. They have a wide variety of questions, and there's a general chat, which we'll get into in just a minute. But I've enjoyed connecting with other adjusters. I've even met one that we're gonna connect at PLRB, so you can make these connections with other adjusters in real time. So it's been really interesting to learn more about the Discord. But let's talk about, what does the Discord community like offer to adjusters? Why would an adjuster come join the Discord?
The concept behind it is honestly to just get claims closed, right? Nobody
Mhm.
makes money if you're not closing claims. So you can go to, the adjusting schools are needed. The training is great. Like I'm not an Xactimate certified trainer. So shameless plug here. Jeff is. I don't advertise that, I can do that. But if you're
Mhm.
in the Discord, you may not even know that somebody like Mr. Conrad exists. Well, you have an opportunity to plug in, right? You can get
Mhm.
access to them. We're posting their classes that they host. You have access to vendors. There's resume assistants tied up in here. Ruth is fantastic. But the whole goal is to help you close claims. I can teach you how to be an adjuster, but you have checklists, you have photo pages, you have sample documentation, but you're sitting at home stuck for 15 minutes trying to think of a line item. You just post a
Mhm.
picture, post a text, done, claim closed. Nobody gets paid if we're not closing claims, and you're not
Mhm.
sitting out on an island waiting on a field manager to call you back, because a lot of the stuff is carrier specific. We understand that, but most of it is just damage is damage.
Yeah.
Drywall for this IA firm is going to be the same as drywall for this IA firm. It's kind of the same
Mhm.
concept, right? A metal
Yeah.
awning is going to be the same whether you're writing for 10 different firms. That is still the same item. So that's kind of the concept, is we just do the best we can to help everybody move a claim forward.
Okay. Well, let's stop talking about it and let's show us if you can.
I
Give us a
will
give us a
throw up the screen
demo.
here. And just in case anybody's wondering, I'm on a different laptop. So the name that's going to appear on the Discord is not, in fact, my name. It's one of my moderators.
Let's see
Um,
if it works. Bear with us because I've never done this before.
this is the first time for everything.
Oh, yay. Okay. I see it on the screen. Hopefully, everyone else can see it at home.
So we'll start kind of at the top. When you get into the channel, you have access to see everything. There's rules. We have everything, data sharing policies. And like I said, the subscription is very minor. And it's not you say, oh, what, I got to pay for something that is $10 a month, 15 if you want voice chat, but it's a free trial and a demo, right? But you're looking at, this is the only way that I can filter out um, applicants,
Mhm.
bots. I had to put some way to control it because the AI invasion of bots are getting crazy.
Yeah.
So there's a reason behind it to deal with that. But you also, you get access to the moderators, you get access to one-on-one chats, you can have access to anybody that you want for mentorship. There's a lot that this opens up, and you're not just in here getting jobs. Because I didn't, you believe it or not, I guess I'm gonna share this with or not. You text me and asked me for an adjuster, and I sent you one. you
Mhm.
know and so that's the purpose of the Discord. That adjuster happens to be in Discord and in our network. And so, but he paid $10 and he got a claim for it.
Mhm.
Pays for itself, right? Everything, we have guides and announcements, but each individual channel, there's a little helping stuff. You've got forms, deployments, how to become an adjuster, tools and equipment. We've got links for everything that you need. I've got information about compliance and why it's important, because adjusters don't necessarily always understand why the IA firm is requesting what they're requesting. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
They don't understand why
Sure.
72 hours is important. So what do you do? Best practices, there's roof checklist, there's photo checklist, there's examples. It's it's just a place to store everything that we could think of.
Mhm.
So you can play around in this, and this is always added to it, right? There's always in there. There's desk adjusting basics. We're always expanding. There's the vendors, AI contents estimation, RoutX, AI policy reading, resume assistance, DocuSketch, different
Mhm.
stuff, and always growing. But the fun part that you talked about are
Mhm.
the chats.
Yes.
So, and you'll see everybody posted in here, and I'm scrolling fast where nobody can kind of read, but this is just some examples. There's a lot of random photos. There's
Yeah.
random things that happen. Somebody's asking about law and ordinance, and if you pay for this, and we all went through and did it, and Symbility help, Xactimate help. There's win and hail losses. I just don't want to. I don't want to dive too far into it, you know. And
Yeah.
obviously, you see that Brandon's posting this, but it's just a general consensus of getting opinions. I
Mhm.
mean, if you load it up and say it's hail, if you write it as hail because the Discord said it was hail, don't blame us. But at least you have some opinions. And
Yeah.
there's a couple of them that are in here that are hammers and golf balls, and this was an interesting one. I mean, look, all the hail was in a
Mhm.
weird pattern
Yeah.
or hail. So I've had several that it's just a place to talk, ask. You get stuck on a claim, you got a fire loss,
Mhm.
you got some. You're asking about a bar that somebody actually knew where this was. It's the oldest bar in the state. And how are
Oh,
you going
wow.
to refinish it to preserve the historical value?
Mhm.
So that was a conversation that was had, right? So it's a different look. The general chat, we make fun of each other in here. I
Yeah.
make fun of myself mostly. Daily claim opportunities that are posted, these are updated, and some of them are never removed because the rosters stay the same. And then, deployment standbys that were picked up on LinkedIn, looking where we're at.
Mhm.
It's just it's a different place, right? But you got to learn how to navigate it. Discord is not confusing once you're in it. A computer is
No.
much easier than doing
Super
it on your
easy.
phone.
Yeah, it's very easy platform, and you even have topics like you can talk about sports. So I popped
Mm-hmm.
in there when LSU was doing good a couple weeks ago. I don't know, maybe
Yeah,
a
we
month or
had.
two ago.
There's the we
Been a
had
while.
to, I had to clean up, and this is the appraisal. I had to clean up some of the chats. Um, some I anyways, I have it
Yeah,
very heavily moderated, but I've had to clean up some of the chats because people like to talk extensive amounts of smack. And
yeah.
so
It's a lot of fun though, but it's a community. You're building a community, which I love. I'm all about building community and having mentors, and that's what you're doing here. And you can
Mhm.
meet so many different people. Um, but ask the questions, pay the membership, get involved, use the system, actually use it, be engaged, and you can have it on your desktop, and I have little notifications that pop up. I can click in and kind of chat when I have a minute. Doesn't take long to help somebody else out, which is it's so much fun. It's just to me, it's just fun. So I'm glad we got to see that. Thank you for sharing that with us.
No, I'm
We
glad
have
to get it out there. It's different, right? Because the adjusters,
mhm,
they're not going to ask questions to an IA firm that the firm may think, oh God, I don't know what I'm doing. But
yeah,
somebody's got in the Discord, like, I've never ran a commercial claim before, and I was like, oh well, take it anyways. You got my phone number, just get in the
mhm,
Discord and we'll write it. And so we did it. They ran a restaurant, and it was a big nasty commercial claim, and we wrote it together in the Discord. And so
yeah,
it's just you know you don't want to turn down work. You don't want to overextend yourself, but we open that resource up. And I use some people in there. I have a guy in there that's a GC that I make him, I say make him, I get him to assist me in writing a lot of my framing estimates off
mhm,
of engineer plans and architect drawings because I don't know how to read that junk, but he does.
yeah,
I met him networking through this and got him plugged into the Discord. And so it's a great tool that you're never going to find that dude on Facebook, but he
yeah.
exists in the Discord.
Yeah, yeah. Stay off Facebook. Don't fall for the Facebook. Oh my gosh, and don't fall for the LinkedIn clickbait videos either. Like
That
me.
is also true.
Yeah, yeah. So, man, our comments are blowing up this morning. I'm so happy to see everyone joining in. Yamali, that's my coworker. Hey, girl, thanks for coming on. Oh, Brandon saw his name. Loss
Yeah, he
Ratio
did.
is in the house. Thank you, Curtis, for joining in. Oh, do you have an adjuster fantasy football league?
Oh, we do. I can't show the chat on that one because you got to be in the league to see the chat, but we did. And I will tell you
Oh,
that the
okay.
game is rigged, and I promise you it is rigged. And if Alan Donald was on this call, oh, I didn't say his name out loud, but yeah,
Yeah,
game's rigged. That's all I got to say about that. But we do have a fantasy league that's going on. It's you just got to be in the
that's
league to
so
get in the
funny.
chat. But it's
That's so funny. I'm going to join next year. I have become a Giants fan, which is so unexpected of me. I love Jackson Dart. He is like I don't know, my guy now. And then Scattaboo, who just got injured. That's all. That's the only two players I know. But I love watching them play. So I'm going to have to join in next year. I look forward to it. Uh, this is a fantastic idea, especially for DYAs, even recruiters, which is a great
Mhm.
point. That
Yeah,
is
I
a great
have
point.
so I met with a couple staffers and recruiters that I weren't able to get them plugged in just yet because we were kind of rolling out.
Mm-hmm.
And they do more TPA and desk stuff. So to be honest with you, I don't have a lot of auto connections. If somebody were to give
Oh,
me an
yeah.
auto claim, I'd be like, the only auto adjuster I know, his name's Ty. And
Mm.
so shameless plug also, if anybody needs an auto adjuster, Ty probably needs a job. Um, but I'm trying to expand it out. And so the
Yeah.
staffing agent and I, we talked for a while, and it was basically like they don't know what IA firms need stuff. So it
Mm.
was a point of like last year when a firm calls me and is like, I need 90 desk adjusters. I didn't have them. But
Mm-hmm.
now that I have the staffing agent that I've talked to, I can plug them back to them.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a very good point. That's kind of what I'm trying to expand to get into. We're not trying to monopolize on anything. People just don't know what's out there, right? There's IA firms that had no idea some of these adjusters existed until
Mm-hmm.
they just stumbled upon, Kevin and myself and talked to us and figuring this out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's start talking about the industry, the current state of our industry right now.
Oh boy.
How do you feel about it? What's working well? What needs to change? Be honest. Say what's on your mind. I feel like you have a lot on your mind about this, so let's dive in.
There are a lot of people on here are not going to like my answers, but
That's okay.
the state of the industry right now, I'm going to honestly say adjusters, we kind of did it to ourselves. And I say ourselves because I consider myself in it. When when a hurricane hits, I'll give you some examples. So Hurricane Ian is a good example. An adjuster took 40 claims. This is a sad situation, but just give you an example. Took
Mm-hmm.
40 claims, had a car wreck on the way to the deployment, and broke his leg. He did not climb any roof on all 40 claims, zero. Turned in all his claims with no roof inspections. We had to re-inspect them all. So when you see that, you're looking at, and that's just an example, just something, the stuff that's happened. The adjusters are burning insurance carriers. So in the current
Mm.
state, the insurance carriers are looking for ways to get out of pitfalls like that. And how do you do that? AI, drones, ladder assist, seek now. You run a better chance at a lower rate and less cost of, I guess, expense controlling yourself to profitability. And
Yeah.
so, but it's because the industry became so crazily saturated and we got lax, we got used to storms. Everybody got used to volume, everybody got used to just turning and burning, and we kind of did it to ourselves. They're looking
Mm.
for other ways out. And the only thing that's working well right now is politics. And that sounds really bad to say, but it doesn't matter
Yeah.
if you're the best adjuster on the planet. It doesn't matter if you're 18, 20 years. If you're not political and you
Mm.
don't know somebody and you're somebody's buddy, you're not going to be the first chance to get claims. Kind of helping circumvent some of that. But what
Mm.
needs to change is honestly the political landscape, and we need to get back to a focus on product and not process and paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be amazed at how many managers sit in 10 hours worth of meetings a day and have no clue what's actually happening in the field. And that was something I prided myself in, is I like to be on the ground with the adjusters and I like to be able to talk to them and know. But I was
Mm-hmm.
also working some claims myself. I just grab a couple claims and jump in, tell somebody, just send me your ESX. I want to write a fire claim on board. And, just to stay fresh in it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a disconnect between the top and the people actually doing the work. But again, we as adjusters drove that wedge there. They were trying to figure out ways to get in control of the downward spiral of quality.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is where we're at. Um, that's my honest takes on the state of the industry right now. People may disagree with that,
Hmm.
but currently quality is not rewarded the way it should be in my eyes.
Well, is that partly the IA firm's fault for not overseeing that quality effectively?
It to a point, but you can also only do so much with what you get.
Mm,
And this is a career that, we spoke about it before. You're going to get out what you put in it.
mm,
And a lot of the adjusters' care factor has disappeared simply
mm,
for money because, again, everybody got used to the money. Everybody was used to running, 20, 30 claims a week, getting hammered with volume for the last 3 years that the industry became saturated, and the firms can only do so much.
mm,
Um, and so, I mean, not developing talent, sure. I'm not going to bust roll any firms or say that anybody's at fault. Everybody QAs and reviews differently, but if you're, it still doesn't matter to a point, right? If the carrier has buddy with somebody else, that's who's going to get the claims.
mm.
And
Yeah,
that's a currently in this time, it's literally that's a big driving factor right now.
yeah,
And that may sound bad, and that may blacklist me, and people may hate me for that, but
mm,
I got no reason to lie about it. It's just
yeah. It is
you
what it
get what
is.
you get. It is what it is. Correct.
Yeah, I would say too, for if those are listening today, that there's a lot of people with fresh perspectives and hard work that's willing to put that quality back into the adjuster and that have never lost the quality with that
Mhm.
process, and that they're still here, they're still doing the work, just like specialty. I have to plug my company because I'm so happy to work with them. We really strive ourselves on, having great quality work. And there's IA firms out there that are still doing that still care about the adjusting process from start to finish. That's what we are. We're full servicing adjusting firm. But there are firms out there that still believe in the day-to-day adjuster and the adjusting process. So don't lose sight of that. We're still here. We're not just we're not just one of those overnight firms that you kind of run into.
And they're in
But
the Discord. That's the funny part too. The firms that have talked to me and wanted to be in the Discord because they like the fact of adjusters having access and they care,
mm-hmm.
they're reaching out to get to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, they check in frequently. They are, and you're right. The firms are coming up, but as the industry as a whole, that's a sample size of 10 out of 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
For every one IA firm that still cares about this fact, there's another one that's doesn't.
Yeah.
So it's a flip
Yeah.
side of both coins, but there are several firms in the Discord that do care about the adjusters, do care
Mm-hmm.
about the product, and do want to work to make sure that you're exactly right. Full claim service handling, and especially you guys are one of them that, grabbing adjusters, see what they got. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to get a senior adjuster,
Mm-hmm.
do good work, put them in the best hands you can.
Yeah, absolutely. So you consult with IA firms. What got you to that point? How did you land that role?
Kind of because everybody that I used to work with, a lot of them split. So
Okay.
there was a lot of managers and a lot of people. A couple of them own firms now. A couple of them went to firms, but the main goal was they had a focus on wanting to get back to quality, and
Mm,
that's what everybody that came to me kind of has in general is you want to get back to quality because my review process is different. There's a
mhm,
lot of adjusters that can say we were terrible to turn in claims for because review because we didn't let nothing slide, but it's a consistent approach.
mhm,
So my reviewer over here is doing the same thing the reviewer over here is doing. Nobody's different. So when the firms, wanted that opportunity, they're getting new clients, they're growing, they're advancing, and they want to make sure their product is consistent. That's kind of just what happened. Be like, hey, can you help us do this or look at this and give us some direction? And
mhm,
the trends that I see are the same I saw on my side. It's
mhm.
the adjusters. I guess it's just the areas depends on the area and the territories, but it's saturation.
Yeah.
You got 10 adjusters to pick from, and you don't know which one's resume is right and which one's resume is wrong.
Mhm,
Excuse me. So it's that's a trend or challenge on that side is determining, hey, look, this field adjuster may not can handle this.
Mhm.
but I just don't know. You know,
Yeah.
it's their
Yeah.
roster. I don't try to overtake their people.
Yeah.
So that is the same thing that same thing we dealt with.
Yeah.
Rosters are oversaturated with adjusters, and you want to try to do the best you can, but a lot of times you're taking dispatch is taking a shot in the dark, right? It's
Mhm.
just not enough volume to test. So that's a current trend is there's not enough volume to get a good sample size. You're not getting 40 claims that you can give to each adjuster.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So, talking about adjusters, what advice for someone wanting to become an IA? What's your advice for someone wanting to become an IA or enter this career path today? We kind of talked about this. Be honest. Be brutally honest.
I will tell anybody that's asking right now, go get don't be an IA, man. You want to wait until the hurricane hits. That's obvious, but the industry is changing, but it is going to flip back around. I mean, that's
Mhm.
that's the God's honest truth. Is we did it
Mhm.
to ourselves right now. Same thing with the plaintiff side, all the tort reform and stuff that's going on in Louisiana and Florida. They did that to themselves. We did this to ourselves, but it's going to flip. But right
Mhm.
now, in this current time, being an IA is going to be very tough. Staff, if you
Mhm.
wanted to get into adjusting and you had the opportunity to get a staff position, I would say start as staff right now
Mhm.
and then potentially transition later if you want to. Um, I wouldn't recommend anybody become an IA today. If you call me today and be like, I want to be adjuster, I'm going to be like, man, you're going through a tunnel. Hang up my phone. Uh,
Yeah.
it's uh, it's still there. You can do it.
Mhm.
It's not as the glory day just doesn't exist right now. Wait
No.
until some volume. Wait, and if you have a day job, don't quit it. Wait until the volume bides your time for a hurricane or a storm, or if you have
Mhm.
an opportunity to go staff where they're going to build you from the ground up. That would be
Mhm.
my honest recommendation.
Mhm. Yeah, I would say, yeah, don't quit your day job, especially if you want to be an IA. Don't do that. That's a, a, a bad idea. Just because, like you said, the volume is really low right now, and there is a saturation of adjusters. But do everything you can in the meantime to become the best at your trade. Study. Go to the networking events. Go to the CE classes. There's, in Baton Rouge, there's a free one next week that I'm going to. I've already been to hundreds of mitigation CE courses, but guess what? I'm going again next week because I'm going to get a refresher. I'm going to continuously learn. Um, we kind of talked about adaptability. Do you want to kind of mention that?
Yeah, and that's kind of rolls into the next thing here is being adaptable to any and all parts of the industry.
Mm-hmm.
So while I didn't have claims and things like that were happening, I was doing the same thing like you said. I was reading, I was studying. I subscribed to the Insurance Journal. Merlin's blog is fantastic. There's a lot of, and don't be shied away if you're an adjuster. Don't be like, oh, I'm not reading, plaintiff propaganda. It's all insurance news, right? You need to know what's going on both sides. But you're
Mm-hmm.
exactly right. Is focus on the craft and being adaptable. So
Mm-hmm.
if you get an opportunity and say it's not property, say it is, somebody actually mentioned underwriting inspections. No clue
Mm-hmm.
that was taken off the way it was. But if you understand adjusting and you
Mm-hmm.
learn how the photo's taken and what you need to apply and stuff like that, you can literally walk right into underwriting inspection and go hand in hand. So what you
Mm-hmm.
said is exactly right. Being, the best of your craft and taking the time until a storm hits to be ready. Where you hit the ground running, you're not,
Yeah.
screaming.
Yeah. And, we talk about this. I talk about this all the time. It's think about what is your motivating factor? Why do you want to be in this career? What made you want to be an insurance adjuster? I have a unique story that I've shared all the time. It's on my LinkedIn if you're curious about it. But what is the reason? And if you don't know or you can't confidently say why you want to be in this field, it's not for you. It takes a certain person, it takes grit, it takes hard work, it takes accountability. You have your own sometimes you have your own schedule, time management. All of these things matter, and all of those qualities go into making a good adjuster. which if you have those qualities, you great. We want you to become an adjuster. We encourage you. But you have to adapt. You have to be willing to learn new things. You never stop learning in this industry. And I quote one of my mentors: the minute you think you know everything, it's time to hang it up because you're done. So, and that's true in this business. Things evolve, right? There's constant new knowledge. There's constant new techniques that come out. Things that you need to know. So, I would say, oh,
I like that a
oh,
lot. The moment you think you know it all. I tell everybody every day, I try to learn something, one thing every day.
mm-hmm.
Um, and you realize that I just there's a lot you don't know.
A lot
I
of I
learned
still
something
don't
about,
know. Yeah.
yeah, the same thing. I learned something about stucco today, actually, from a contractor right before this call about
Oh, there you
some
go.
stucco in Indiana. So I was like, okay, well, learn something new today.
I would say too, like, even though like this is something I'm working on too, is like going back to basics. Reading the
Mm-hmm.
policy again, double checking the perils insured against. When I have a named peril policy, like going back to basics. And it's okay to it's okay to constantly read the policy. It's okay to, but you need to learn. You need to know how to read the policy. You need to know how to navigate that policy. And you can be learning all that in the meantime. While you're slow, read the policy, learn the policy. So there's so much you can do while we're in a slow time, that I don't want it to be all gloom and doom and scary times. But like you said, I really do think it's going to flip back. There's going to be a storm. There's going to be something that happens, a big freeze, where they're going to be needing adjusters, and they're going to be calling for it. And we'll be ready. So
Yep. And the Discord plug, you can also get in there during the slow time. Just
yeah.
like it's $10 a month, so skip out on a Big Mac and then drop in a
Big
sub. And if you really need to, I'll give it to you for free. I don't really care.
well,
Just send us a message and ask, right?
yeah, but we want you to pay for it. We want you to get the value. You're going to get the value 10 times over in there. So, but let's talk about, you've been doing this since 2017. What keeps you motivated after all these years in claims?
Oh, money's still green. They
Oh, gee.
no,
Oh, no.
honestly, the industry is recession proof, and that's something a lot of people don't understand.
Mhm,
Is insurance has to happen and claims have to happen, and when the
mhm,
recessions come and the economy dips, people file claims because they
mhm,
need money. Now they're not going to fix their claims, but we were busier during COVID than I wanted to be ever in the history of mankind. And so this is what's coming. The industry, you
mhm,
ride the ebb and flows. We know that with the weather, but
mhm,
it is ultimately economy proof. The economy is stumbling right now, and going into this, I believe we're going to see a massive uptick coming into the end, and especially moving into early 26. So the
mhm.
motivation is I'm curious.
Curious.
I'm always intrigued and
Mhm,
I'm never comfortable, right? I want to
yeah.
see if the trends play out. It's something to watch. It keeps me engaged.
Engaged. I love that. I would say I'm very similar too. I'm very curious. I love this industry. I live and breathe it. It's my passion, and I'm not going anywhere. You're gonna have to physically remove me from this
Oh, you
industry.
somebody offers me a better job, I'm out tomorrow. I'm just gonna tell you straight.
What? No. Oh my gosh. Well, let's talk about current, how do you stay current on industry happenings, tools, techs, since you're so
uh,
curious?
a lot of it's reading. You were the one who
Yeah.
told me that LinkedIn is the best place ever. And I never was on LinkedIn until literally I talked to you and you were like, oh, LinkedIn's the best. So now I'm on LinkedIn. But it
Mhm,
really is. And so I read a lot of LinkedIn. I went to a couple networking events and things that happen, but it's literally just following the people and reading. And
mhm,
because there's really no insurance radio. You know what I'm saying? That you can listen to and see
mhm.
stuff all day. But
Well, you can listen
I
to
follow the
Adjuster Hour.
yeah, you could.
Yeah.
And I follow the attorneys.
Mhm,
I follow the big names that are always in the case law. I follow all the of insurances, and that's it. You just
mhm,
try to be as surrounded as you can.
Yeah.
And I found out about some new sticky gloves the other day on a random Facebook reel, and I was like, "That's really
Oh,
cool." It's the
sticky
same guys
gloves.
that make the sticky pants, except they now make fingerless gloves.
Oh.
Um, so I'm
Mhm.
always reading, and that's something
Always
that
reading. Mhm.
a lot of people don't do. We'll spend time dead scrolling on Instagram. I'm not dead scrolling on Instagram. I'm dead scrolling, on LinkedIn or trying to
Yeah.
find something new. Consider me weird because I am kind of weird, but I also know that I like to be on top of it.
Yeah, I would definitely say LinkedIn. It's such an easy social platform to use. Go to LinkedIn, network, look up your claims association in your neck of the woods. Start following people in the association. Get to know them. You're going to start making connections in no time. So, well, we're nearing the end of our session, but I have some fun questions to ask you. So let's do some rapid fire questions. Are you a coffee or energy drink man to
Energy
start
drink,
your
energy drink, 100%.
energy? You know what? I got that vibe from you that you're on an energy drink. I'm more coffee. I like my coffee in the morning. I like to start off slow, and then I like to do this panic attack in the morning where I'm like, oh my gosh, I've spent so much time just relaxing, drinking my coffee. I got to get to work, and that actually jump starts me. So that's like
Um,
that's my energy.
I have toddlers, and one of them, if the sun's up, she's up. So we're jump
Yeah.
started at 6:30 by a curly-headed 4-year-old. So we're
Yeah,
good to
there
go.
you go. Yeah, yeah. I have two little boys, and yeah, I have to wake them up though. They're sleepy boys in the morning. But
Yeah.
what's your what's your favorite storm story or you can't make this up claim moment? Do you have one?
I do. I have several that are just like insane that you wouldn't believe.
Hmm.
But one of the most fun ones is an insured actually went through the full story of everything of how it happened. That a tree fell, went
Hmm.
under the home, bounced up under the home and broke the bathtub, landed again,
Oh.
and then rolled back out. All due to the hurricane. And I can literally call the adjuster right now who handled the claim and did it. But that story was, I was just sitting there listening to this, like, there's no way, right? And it was true. It did. It told us the story, the DA, everything, the same story through it. And that was really my first taste of this is, you couldn't
Hmm.
make this up if I tried. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's too perfect. Like, nobody will ever believe this. And that was one of my first ones that stuck with me is that tree
Hmm.
fell and that hurricane, it blew under the house, broke my bathtub, went right back out from under it. That's
Yeah,
one of my
this
favorites.
the stuff that they come up with, I could tell stories all day. I'll tell you my favorite story. Um, it was in southern Louisiana, Pierreport. It's in Pierreport, Louisiana, um, and it was a fire loss. I go out late. It was late in the day. I was, last stop of the day, and it was a shed fire. She basically tells me that she was building a pirogue out in her shed and she left it there to go inside to use the bathroom. She got to dance into some swamp pop music and she just turned up the swamp pop and just started dancing. Well, all of a sudden she hears a loud pop. The whole shed's on fire. The whole shed's on fire. It just caught fire. And so I couldn't believe like what she was telling me, so I had to write it down. And she wrote it. She wrote all this down. Well, turns out her ex-boyfriend, all his stuff was in the shed. He had cheated on her, and so she she burned all his stuff down, and all
Yikes.
the whole town knew about it. So she went to jail. That was actually my first incarceration. Yeah,
I
she
got
went
hung
to
up on
jail.
Swamp Pop. That's the Swamp Pop is one of the most
Yeah,
insane.
when she started saying she got caught up in the swamp pop and started dancing and turned the music up loud. I was like, why are you telling me this? Like it just that little
Mad
fact,
work.
yeah, that little fact, and she wrote it all out. It was she's deceased now. She has passed away, so I feel like I can tell a story. But yeah, that was my craziest. All in Pierre part, bunch of crazy Louisiana people.
Oh, I'd get banned from the industrial hour if I went into all my Louisiana stories.
Yeah, yeah, same. There's a bunch more I can't tell. That's not appropriate for the LinkedIn world. But let's go back to our rapid fire questions. What's one piece of tech you can't live without on deployment?
Probably mobile internet.
Oh
I'm gonna
yeah.
say a hotspot or a mobile Starlink now. That's to the greatest things because I have been slapping Louisiana way down there with no service, no basically no power lines left, and I was like, if I don't show back up in 6 hours, I am somewhere down here in Raceland. Like that's where I was at. I was
Yeah.
like, I am somewhere down here. Come find me. So
Yeah.
mobile hotspot or now Starlink would be a guaranteed go to. Wouldn't go anywhere without it.
Yeah. Well, no, that's good. I agree 100%. Need that mobile hotspot. So, next question: if you weren't in adjusting, what do you think you'd be doing? And I think I know the answer, but
My answer in the pre-call is probably I'll keep it PG for this. No, honestly, I would still be in IT.
okay.
I always had the computers, man. I love building them. I love taking them apart. I love everything about them.
Hmm.
So that
Well, you
would be
still
what
do
I would
that.
do. I do, but it's just
Yeah.
there's not enough. And I know this sounds crazy. It's really just not enough money in my area.
Yeah.
But I would probably still be in IT and working an 8 to 4:45 like I was, just hanging out in a freezing cold office with a server room in it and just sitting in front of a computer all day, and that's it. But that'd be where I would be back in IT. I don't see any other careers that I would
Mm.
want to do.
Well, that's not that fun. That doesn't sound fun.
I'm very simple, right? I like to go to work and I like to make money. That's pretty much it.
Okay. No, I gotcha. I got you. We got some more comments. Underwriting is keeping me going these days. Yeah, that's a great option. We have a Discord link in the chat. So if you want to get started on Discord, hit the link. It'll take you right there. This is like the Paul Feinbaum show for claims. Thank you. I
Jack,
appreciate it.
you see, I'm gonna catch flack for that. That's fine. That's okay, Jack. I remember that. I'll write that down.
Mobile Claims Association. Yep.
So that's actually your recommendation for me to get into the associations and the stuff you're doing is how I ended up in the Mobile Claims Association. And they're right. Jack and I are in the association down here. Met a ton of people.
Yeah, and you live in Mobile, right? Are you?
I do. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, good. Well, good. So, Nicholas, thank you so much for joining me today and for sharing your story, insights, and energy with all of us. I really appreciate how you turned your experience into something that gives back to the adjusting community with your Discord. From consulting and appraising to building spaces like Adjuster Insights that truly helps others grow. So, to everyone tuning in, thank you for spending your time with us here on Adjuster Hour. If you found today's conversation helpful or inspiring, be sure to check out Nicholas on LinkedIn and, of course, the Discord. And as always, don't forget to like, share, follow the Adjuster Hour for more conversations with the people who keep this industry moving forward. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and keep adjusting with purpose. So, bye, guys. I will see you
Thank you.
next Thursday, I believe. So be on the lookout for LinkedIn for the schedule. Y'all take care.